They say the Bible you know today isn't the complete story. For centuries, whispers have spread about lost books, banned scriptures, and secret teachings that church authorities worked hard to keep buried. These are the so-called lost books of the Bible, texts so controversial they were locked away, forgotten, or outright destroyed. But what are these forbidden writings, and why were they removed? Today, we're going to uncover the hidden history of these lost books they didn't want you to read. Stay with me until the end, because what you learn might forever change how you see the Bible. When people hear lost books of the Bible, they often think of mysterious, half-burned scrolls buried in the sands of time. In truth, they weren't lost by accident. They were deliberately excluded. Early religious authorities chose what went into the official Bible and what was left out. Councils met, debated, and finally declared a canon, a fixed collection of writings seen as inspired and authoritative. Anything that didn't make the cut was declared apocryphal, heretical, or simply unorthodox. And so these texts were locked away, burned, or forgotten for centuries. But why exclude any scripture at all? The reasons were as political as they were theological. In the early centuries after Jesus, Christianity wasn't a single, unified faith. It was a collection of competing movements. Some communities emphasized mystical knowledge. Others argued Jesus was purely divine or purely human. Some even questioned who had the right to interpret his message. To consolidate authority, church leaders needed a single, unified doctrine. Alternative voices were dangerous. They sowed division and could inspire rival sects. And so, defining orthodoxy meant excluding what they viewed as dangerous lies. Imagine, for a moment, you're an early church bishop. Your goal is to unify believers, stop heresies, and strengthen the church. Would you include a gospel that portrays Jesus not as the divine Son of God, but as a wise teacher sharing secret sayings? Or one that grants spiritual authority to a woman in a patriarchal society? Or one that suggests betrayal was part of a divine plan? For many church leaders, the answer was clear. They needed to define the story and remove anything that challenged their power. So what exactly are these lost books? Some are alternative gospels with shockingly different portrayals of Jesus. The Gospel of Thomas, for instance, is a collection of 114 cryptic sayings attributed to Jesus. It doesn't tell of his birth, death, or resurrection. Instead, it offers mystical wisdom, suggesting that salvation lies in understanding hidden knowledge. Then there's the Gospel of Mary Magdalene text, where Mary is portrayed as a trusted disciple with spiritual insight that even challenges Peter, and the Gospel of Judas. It flips the story entirely, presenting Judas not as a traitor, but as the one disciple who truly understood Jesus' plan. These aren't modern fabrications or wild conspiracy theories. They're real ancient manuscripts, many discovered in 1945 at Nag Hammadi in Egypt, hidden in a sealed jar for over 1600 years. These texts survived wars, persecution, and censorship. When they were finally revealed to the world, they shocked scholars and believers alike, forcing a re-evaluation of early Christian history. Beyond these alternative gospels, there are apocalyptic and prophetic works that once commanded deep respect in early communities. The Book of Enoch is one of the most famous. It offers vivid visions of heaven and hell, fallen angels called watchers who descended to earth, taught forbidden knowledge to humanity, and produced the Nephilim giant offspring that filled the world with violence. Enoch's detailed visions of judgment influenced Jewish and early Christian thought so profoundly that it's even quoted in the New Testament epistle of Jude, and yet, church councils eventually banned it, labeling it too fantastical, too theologically dangerous. The Book of Jubilees is another example. Sometimes called Little Genesis, it retells the familiar stories of Genesis with extra detail, filling in gaps, explaining the origins of demons, and describing a precise angelic calendar. It offered answers to questions the standard text left ambiguous, but those answers didn't match later church doctrine, and so it was cast aside. Then there's the Apocalypse of Peter, a text once widely read by early Christians. It describes a vivid, terrifying vision of heaven and hell, with graphic punishments for sinners that even shocked some early church fathers. Its raw imagery and moral lessons resonated with believers, but ultimately proved too unsettling for official canon. Why were these books so threatening? Because they complicated the narrative. They offered competing visions of Jesus, God, salvation, and the nature of evil. They challenged authority by encouraging personal spiritual discovery over institutional control. Some elevated marginalized voices, including women. Others described a cosmic drama of angels and demons that didn't align neatly with approved doctrine. By excluding them, church leaders defined the limits of faith and silenced dissent. For centuries, most people assumed these books were lost forever. But the 20th century changed everything. In 1945, the Nag Hammadi discovery unearthed over 50 ancient Christian texts hidden away in Egypt. Works like the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Philip, and the Apocrypha of John gave us a glimpse into early Christian diversity. And it wasn't just Christian texts being rediscovered. The Dead Sea Scrolls, found in caves near Qumran, revealed a treasure trove of Jewish writings, including older versions of biblical books and completely lost works. These discoveries sent shockwaves through the scholarly world. They proved that early Judaism and Christianity were far more diverse and contested than many had believed. They showed us that what we call the Bible wasn't inevitably, it was a choice, the result of fierce debates, councils, and power struggles. Today, scholars continue to study these lost books to understand early faith, culture, and theology. But the conversation isn't just academic. For many believers, these discoveries provoke uncomfortable questions. Who had the right to decide what was true and what was false? What if spiritual insights were lost forever, simply because they didn't fit the dominant narrative? And how might faith have evolved differently if these texts had remained in the canon? Even now, debates rage on. Some see these lost books as dangerous heresy, best left forgotten. Others see them as sacred voices finally recovered from centuries of suppression. They offer a window into the messy, human, and profoundly spiritual process of grappling with the divine. They remind us that faith has never been monolithic, that it has always been a living conversation, shaped by argument, revision, and rediscovery. In the end, whether you believe these lost books hold hidden truths or dangerous lies, they challenge us to think critically about history, power, and faith. Who gets to decide what is sacred? What voices were silenced? And what might they still have to teach us today? If you found this journey into hidden history compelling, make sure to subscribe for more. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever read any of these lost books? Which one intrigues you most? Join me next time as we continue to uncover the secrets they don't want you to know.